We all know of the popular wedge lights. You got the Streamlight Wedge, the Coast Slayer, Surefire Stiletto, Olight Arkfeld, etc. And while I really would like to check those lights out, they are a little bit expensive, priced around the $80 to $100 range. But what would a wedge light look like that's only $20? Obviously, it's not going to be as good as those, but let's at least take a look at it. So this one is the Claris E5. I was talking with Claris and they recommended I check this one out. This one came in this blue color, which I think looks really good actually. It's like a blue anodized look. It almost doesn't look like a flashlight though. It kind of looks like a vape or a stick of gum. But if you actually notice on here, there's two emitters, one on the face of the light and one on the end. And these are actually referred to as cob lights, which means chip on board, which is just basically a little cluster of LEDs together. And because of that, this light is much more of a floody light rather than a thrower, and we'll see that when we get into the stats and the candela numbers for it. But anyways, let's get into the good and the not so good. To start, this is actually a rechargeable light, and it comes with a USB-C cable, which is pretty standard now. Really nice to see USB-C. To charge it, you actually open this little flap. It's kind of hard to get it. Opens up right there, and you just plug it right in. Charges up, and the light will actually show red while it's charging, and it'll actually show blue when it's fully charged. Well, but that is the charging port. On the other side is actually the power button. And that is something that can confuse you at first because they're in the exact same spot on either side, and they both have that rubber feel to them. So if you grab real quick, you might accidentally press the charging thing and you're like, oh, my light's not turning on. Once you use it a little bit more, it is easy to find the power button instead because it's a little bit protruding. Also, the power button symbol has a little bit of texturing to it, so it's pretty easy to get that. But to turn it on, it's literally just a click, and I actually have it on the top mode. You can switch between the two by holding it down for 2 seconds. There's no momentary. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I like momentary. I always look for momentary in a flashlight, and if it doesn't have it, that's a pretty big setback for me. And this doesn't have it. Because of no momentary, the modes tend to mess with you a little bit more. Getting to the modes, I just want to go over them really quickly. I'll show this sheet real quick. We'll just go over the standout numbers here. You actually have a turbo mode that comes with a high of 600 lumens. On the forward cob, you can get 30 lumens for 12 hours. So you can get up to 12 hours of runtime on here. But like I was saying about the candela, even on the turbo mode, which is 600 lumens, the max output, you're only getting 240 candela, which is really not that much, in a beam range of only 30 meters. So of course that's not that much, and that's just the design of the light. Starting with the front light, you can cycle through the modes. Click it once, it's low, medium, high, and then one more time is actually a strobe, which is red and blue lights. It kind of looks like police lights. If you tap the light 3 times, you get turbo, and that's your 600 lumens. Cycling through the modes can be a little bit weird, but if you keep the light on for about 2 to 3 seconds, when you press it again, it'll just turn it off and not cycle through the modes. So if you have it on for a little bit and you're using it, once you go to turn it off, it'll just turn off. But if you just click through, you'll go through the modes. If you click it 2 times, you actually get a strobe again, but this time it's on the top of the light. Now, when the light's either on or off, you can hold down for 2 seconds, and now you switch to the top light. And this only has 2 modes in this setting. There's a low and a high, or it's actually high first and then low. And something that's interesting, and you might not be able to tell here, this is much more of a blue light, and this is a little bit of a warmer light, and you can kind of tell on the camera. If you want to always run it out the top, you can just choose to do that and not ever use that one. You can use this in addition with the pocket clip if you wanted to wear it on a shoulder strap of a backpack or a chest strap of something. And that's this nice wide pocket clip, which is the next thing we'll talk about. The pocket clip on here, I saw a few reviews saying it was a little bit low. There's about 1 inch sticking out of your pocket. So a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people want a deeper carry, and I saw that some people changed out the clip to a deep carry. I can't tell you exactly what clip that was, but I just know that some people did that. Of course, with the light being this slim, it'll fit in the pocket pretty nicely and not be too bulky. I think the light is interesting. It's not like anything I really have at the moment. Would I personally carry it? For me, probably not. I much prefer these AAA style lights. For me, they're just a little bit more, you know, usable. Obviously, it has momentary. This is the Coast PX22. I have the Streamlit MicroStream as well, which I usually carry. I mainly carry that one, but this is very similar. This one's only like $9 or $10. One of the big advantages to a light like this is you'll see the emitter in there, and it's got the reflector cone. So the LED's, you know, is recessed back in there and has the reflector cone like most standard flashlights have. And that's going to allow that light to travel much farther. Where on this one, it's much more of a floody light. I would say candela is probably one of the most important things in a flashlight, just because if you have lumens but no candela, you're just lighting up a small area in front of you. It's a lot of light right in front of you, but you're not getting any distance on it. And it's especially prevalent when you have lower lumens. So these lights are a little bit lower lumens. This Coast is just gonna have much more throw, even though the highest output is less, but you'll be able to see farther because it has more candela. Even low lumens with high candela, it pushes that light out really well and you can see farther. So I would say that a higher candela is actually more important. This is a floody light for sure, and it would come in handy for up close things. I mean, it'll light up a small room easily. For general purpose, I think more often than not, this type of light is going to be more useful. Something else kind of interesting about this light, it seems like a couple different companies have the exact same light as this one. For example, Nebo, the company Nebo, they make flashlights. They have one that looks just about identical to this one. And I saw a couple other lights too that looked almost identical. And they're all around the same price. So I think a couple of these companies are using basically the same product with their name on it. It's the same design essentially. Look, that Nebo, it literally looks exactly the same as this light. But you know, is this a good affordable wedge light? I've never actually gotten my hands on one of those wedge lights before, like the Streamlight Wedge, but I can probably tell you that those more expensive wedge lights are just going to be better. They're just in a different league. This isn't that type of product, but it's definitely an interesting one, and something, like I said, that I don't really have a light like this, so it's a cool thing to add to the collection. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed and you want to see more review videos, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you later.